One of the biggest things I've learned from doing business is if you don't start doing something and you're not terrible at it, you're never going to get good at it. And what I mean by that is I struggled to start cold calling, and for the longest time I was had a fear of it. I was just not making any progress with it, and of course cold calling is what gets you clients. Um and I ended up never starting it really. Um but what I realized is, like, give yourself permission to be shit at it. And without being terrible at it, you're not going to get good. And that's kind of common sense, but until you understand that and you internalize that, you kind of understand that that's the reality of it, you're never really going to make a ton of progress with that. And that's just some advice I would give everyone who is struggling to really overcome that fear of cold calling, sending messages, putting yourself out there on social media, things like that. Like, when you make your first video, when you make your first cold call, don't expect it to be a masterpiece. Expect it to be terrible, like horrible, like the lowest possible standard, but that doesn't mean you don't try on it, you know? Like, even some of my buddies who have started cold calling with me have said, like, I just joke around, like, don't even take the first 5-10 cold calls I do seriously, just to get in that zone of, I don't really care what happens, I'm just cold calling, you know? And now they're doing a ton of cold calls every day, and they're even getting on sales calls. And I still need to get better about that myself. I still procrastinate, I still do that kind of stuff. And of course, I was going to start cold calling, and then Christmas came around, and I couldn't because everyone's on vacation right now. And still pickup rates are terrible, so I can't cold call for maybe like the rest of this week, maybe next week, I don't even know. But soon I'm going to start cold calling again. Things with my current clients are doing really well. One of my clients' content is just doing really well. And they've kind of stepped back and kind of redid some of their own systems. I was kind of helping him more with content rather than doing it completely for him. And we found a really good way of doing everything where it performs. And like he said, like, for the longest time, I've been so helpful to him when he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And like he said, he would get me some referrals and like just keep working with me, even though we're not doing as much as we used to, because he found some easier ways to do it. Because we were having some problems with, like, his company wouldn't let me access his Google Drive, so we couldn't get the footage we needed in time, and it was just like this whole mess. It was just really annoying, and what we figured out now works for both of us, and it's easier for both of us, you know, because him sitting there uploading files to his computer for 3 hours at night doesn't really work. And like, he's much less stressed, he's actually making progress, you know, he's happy in life. And so that's just good to see happen. With my new gym client, we're trying a lot of new things. So essentially, business is going well. We're getting client results, and some referrals are coming my way, hopefully. He said he knows several people who would really benefit from what I have, and he's really benefited from it. So he isn't shy about recommending my services to them. And I mean, that's really good. And I'm not just going to sit back and rely on these referrals just kind of coming in, although they most likely will. I still don't know for 100%. And it's never guaranteed with referrals, because someone could say, yeah, sure, I'll reach out to them, and then they never do, and it can be a variety of reasons. So I'm going to still cold call, still send messages, and I'm even starting to consider posting some really cool edited kind of gym content type things, of one of those sort of motivational sort of showing the effort, kind of running, and then there's you in the gym, and then there's a voice line of some motivational thing, just to post some content that looks cool, that is visually appealing, that shows that I know what I'm doing when it comes to that. maybe like 5 videos or so, or maybe I'll just continuously post on there. But that's something for the summer because it is really cold outside and I cannot be running around. Although I run to the gym even when it's like 27 degrees, if I stand outside for, like stationary for longer than a minute, I just start to freeze. So that's definitely gonna have to wait till summer, and I think it's unreasonable to try and kind of do everything at once. Right now I need to figure out outreach, need to figure out content strategy, which I've already mostly figured out. It's just implementing. And like giving yourself less to focus on is much better because then you're not worrying about each thing. Like today has probably been one of the most productive days of my life just because I, worked out, even got my brother to start working out, did a bunch of like content filming, solved a bunch of problems, figured out how we're going to like proceed with some problems that we were having, planned some stuff out, and just made headway in just about every department that I have. Editing is going great. Everything is going great. For those of you who don't know, I run a content business. Basically content strategy, management, posting, all of that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, it's all not as easy as it sounds if you don't know what any of this stuff is. It's going to be difficult if you start a business. It always is. And I think I've had a sort of unwillingness to commit myself fully to it. And I think I've now reached the point where I'm just like, whatever. And I do whatever's required. Like I've gone to the point where whenever I'm not working, even if it's during daytime, I'll just sweep because I'm tired. I'll wake up and then I'll go, oh, that needs to be done. And then I'll finish it. And it's like 9 p.m. So it's like my schedule is completely thrown off, but it works. And I feel great. I can actually think now, And yeah, that is just life has been improving, starting to bulk, of course, all of that kind of stuff. And looking back at some of my older videos, I have made significant progress, even in my ability to just talk and just process information. Like, it's so much easier for me to do everything. And another thing is, I learned this from Hermosi, which has really helped me out, of just aggressively questioning time frames. Like, how long will this thing take me? Something that normally would have taken me an hour, maybe 2, I did in 15 minutes today. And it was a really tedious process, all of this kind of stuff. And I was like, if I don't start, it's never going to get done. So I just started and it got done. Because I had to upload to Google Drive like 50 files, had to wait for it to upload, then I had to sort it out per video, then I had to send it off to my editor, then I have to set up the Notion, and all this other stuff. But it all worked out, and it's now done. It didn't take me nearly as long as I thought it would. And, like, again, you just gotta go for it. And yeah, and I think I've just started making less excuses. I've started committing myself more to it. I'm more willing to put more effort into everything. I'm just getting tired of seeing no progress, being stagnant. And I think most people will probably go through that phase where they feel stuck, where they just don't really feel like they're making any progress, but they feel like they're still doing the same amount of effort. But I realized as time goes on, you need to put in more effort, become more efficient. And there's never a point where you can just sit back and relax. And if there is a point, then it's only like for not like forever, You always want to be growing the company. You always want to be improving stuff. And even my past client, or my current client, I don't have any past clients. He was like, I even started working with some TikTok people who specialize with TikTok, and like they just reposted the same video essentially like 5 times, and he was really mad at them. He was paying them a bunch more money than he was paying me, and like he just essentially fired them. And like I knew exactly that would happen because they have a business model of not retaining. They care about getting the deal, retaining for a couple months, and then they can go away. It's not really, it's like they have a sort of system built out and they're not willing to change it. And that never works long term because times change, things like that change. And while your client might get a boost of views or for whoever's doing Facebook ads, they may get a slight boost. You know, they'll feel like they're doing good, but then they'll see it stagnates. And that, like, they don't actively see you trying to figure that out, why it stagnated, and fix it. And, like, he was telling me this on the phone earlier, and he just said, the one thing I like about you is that you, anytime you see a problem, you literally just text me, hey, I found this problem, I'm working on a solution. The next day we're calling and you're talking about potential solutions, and then we're fixing it. Like, that is how I operate, of just aggressively finding problems and fixing them. And the whole, like, if it's working, do more of what's working, and if it stops working, figure out why it stopped working, fix it, and then do more of it. That's kind of what I run on now, and it's been really helpful. Like, everything is so much simpler when you just do the inputs, you know? And I've now started doing a lot more inputs than I used to. I'm a lot more confident. I have a lot more knowledge and understanding of how everything works. And for anyone who is stuck or feels stuck in business and life, whatever it is, just kind of, like, just ask yourself, like, why do you think that is? And whatever the answer is, just make sure that you just put in the effort, put in the inputs. And trust me, you will never regret putting more effort into something. Whether it's working out, whether it's building a company, whether it's doing good in school, whatever it is. Because the better you do in anything, it can only have a positive outcome. So yeah, that's my rant for the day. I guess I haven't posted in a while. Been busy with family and business. I hope everyone had a good Christmas, good New Year's, and just remember, if you own a business or you're trying to accomplish something with your life, now is the time to start. Not tomorrow, not in 3 days, not in a week. Start now. Get into the gym. Get your company going. Do the cold calls. Whatever you do it now. And I'll update you guys soon on when I start closing more clients. So, hope you all are doing good.